What does it mean to be unconscious, and what does it actually mean for your life? Because a lot of us are going through life and we have a lot of stress and we have a lot of anxiety and maybe some fears, like whether you're a business owner, whether you are a performer, an artist, or working in the workplace, like working a 9-to-5 job, whatever it is that you do. Being unconscious of stress is not really a good thing. And so what it means to be unconscious of something is that you don't realize that it's happening. Okay, and this is really, really interesting, because when you don't realize that something is happening, when you're unconscious of something, it can have a lot more control over your level of being and the actions that you take than you think. And I hate to see people in this state, whether it be close friends or family or just somebody that I know that is working a job. I really, really hate to see people stressed. And so that's why I'm talking about what it means to be unconscious in this video, because being unconscious is one of those things where not only do you not realize that you're thinking certain thoughts or taking certain actions, because that's what it really means to be unconscious, is that you don't realize certain thoughts that are going on in your head. You might be going through life, you might be talking to somebody, and then you might not be realizing that you're having certain thoughts that are very angry. You're just like why is this situation happening to me? And this is such a dreadful situation, I hate this, and this is just too much, I can't handle all this stress, and all these thoughts just kind of going through our heads that we don't even realize that we're thinking. And then these thoughts are taking a bigger toll on us than we think. Okay, some people call these unconscious thought patterns the ego. Eckhart Tolle talks about this. He classifies these unconscious thoughts as the ego, because you have a lack of awareness of certain thoughts that are going on in your head. And this stress is one of those things that really does have an impact on your work efficiency and the way you take action, the way you relate to people, and every action that you take in life is going to be significantly impacted by you being unconscious. And not only are you unconscious of thought patterns, you might be unconscious of emotional reactions that are going on. You might be unconscious of certain actions that you're taking that are coming from that emotional reaction and those unconscious thoughts. Like you might be taking action from a place of fear. And I hate to see people do that. That's why I'm talking about what it means to be unconscious, because it's one of those things that you can actually improve through certain mindfulness techniques and certain meditations, and even just being more aware in your everyday life and having a little bit more awareness of certain thought patterns that are going on in your head. Because the moment you bring these thought patterns to your awareness and you actually start to become more aware of what you're thinking, now it becomes conscious. And when it becomes conscious, you actually gain a little bit more control over these thought patterns. They don't have to control your life in a way that they currently do. Because right now you might be having a lot of thought patterns that are really controlling your life and really just holding you back from being the person that you want to be. And that's not what we want. We always want to have a lot more control in our lives. But, that doesn't really depend on these thoughts that we're thinking about fear, because a lot of the actions that we take come from fear. And not only do they come from fear, but we are unconsciously taking action from fear. Right? That's the craziest thing about unconsciousness to me, is that you not only are you doing all of these things that aren't really serving you and don't really serve a purpose in your life and aren't really helping you in any way or changing the world, but you don't realize that they're happening. So it's not even your fault. So I can't judge anybody for this, and you can't really blame anybody, and you can't really, as dysfunctional as this unconsciousness may be, we can't really blame anybody for it, because they don't realize that it's happening. When somebody's unconscious of something, not only do they not know, but they don't know that they don't know. So it's a double not knowing. You have absolutely zero awareness of the thoughts that are going on in your head. And so that's gonna, in that moment that you're unaware of that thinking, that's gonna take a strong control on your life. It's gonna take a strong sense of it's going to really make you take action not in the direction that you want, and you won't realize that this is happening. So the best way to go against this, in my opinion, is to start something like a meditation habit, right? Meditate every single day and work on becoming more conscious. You can start observing the thinking that is going on in your head, because with that awareness you can start to become aware of negative thought patterns that are going on in your life. And when you develop that awareness, now you're going to be in a position where you can start to catch yourself in daily life thinking certain thoughts that don't benefit you. Because a lot of the times it's the thoughts about the situation that creates a lot of negative reaction within us, not actually the situation itself. A lot of situations in life and a lot of thoughts in your life might be completely neutral, but then the thoughts that we have, we give a lot of meaning to those thoughts. We give a lot of meaning to those thoughts, which creates these negative reactions. And it really does come from a lack of awareness. And then the moment you develop this awareness through something like a meditation habit, or simply just making the choice to be more aware and connect to the present moment and observe the thinking that is going on in your head, maybe make a habit out of it in your daily life, what's going to happen is you're going to start to catch these negative reactions in the moment while they're happening, and then you're going to start to become more aware of negative thinking. And then now it's not going to control you as much, and you're going to be able to make a choice on where you prefer to redirect your thinking instead. This is going to be extremely powerful, because when you begin to become more conscious of these thought patterns, you're going to be able to take better action, you're going to be able to work harder, you're going to be able to be more efficient, you're going to be able to connect with people on a much deeper level. There's so many benefits to becoming a more conscious human being, developing that self-awareness. And this is just so powerful, and that's what I really want you to know, is that the more conscious you become, the more powerful your life really is, because you're going to start to get to a point where not only are you going to become aware of negative thought patterns, you can get to a point where you're so present and connected to the being of who you are that the thoughts will actually start to diminish as well. You won't be overthinking as much. We don't really need to be thinking as much as we currently do in society, because a lot of us have a lot of thoughts that don't really serve a purpose. But then the moment you begin to become more conscious of your thought patterns, you can begin to let go of the thoughts that don't necessarily serve you, and then begin to replace them with thoughts that do serve you. Begin to take more action with specific thoughts that are going to help you to be in the direction and the alignment of the things that you want to attract in your life and create the kind of life that you want. But unless you have that awareness of the current thought patterns, you're always going to be held back in certain ways unless you become aware of those thought patterns that also may include, limiting beliefs of some kind that are telling you that, you can't do certain things. You might have certain thoughts in your head that are telling you that I'm not worthy, or I can't do this, or I can't take action on this because fill in the blank. And not only are you having these thoughts, but you were unconscious of them. And so that's where the real problem comes, is when we don't realize that we are thinking these thoughts. And then once again, when you become aware of it, now you can make a choice to kind of redirect them and rewrite your story and the way that you prefer, because a lot of the times it is just about having that awareness. It is just about having the awareness of the thought patterns that we're thinking, and just having just even a tad bit of awareness can significantly improve the quality of your life already. And not to mention that you can develop this through an intention by consciously doing this and practicing it and creating a habit. But you can also, just even having a little bit of awareness is already going to increase significantly the quality of your life, because you're going to begin to become more conscious of the unconscious things that are going on in your life. And so developing this conscious attitude and this practice of being more connected to the moment is really, really, really going to help you to, connect more deeply to who you are, become aware of certain values, the way you see the world, and things that you're not conscious of. And within that unconsciousness is usually where we hold a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And it's the thought patterns that are creating a lot of that, dysfunction and, suffering in our lives that really isn't necessary. Because there's another way out. When you can connect more deeply to the moment, through, breathing techniques and, meditation. And a great book that I always recommend to people is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. When you can make a habit to connect to the present moment, your suffering will diminish. You will feel a lot better in life, guaranteed, because the unconscious thought patterns is where all that pain is usually held in, okay? So that's all I have for you today. I have a ton of other videos that, are specifically giving you techniques on how to be present to the moment. I just wanted to explain in this video what it means to be unconscious and some, negative effects of that, and then the positive effects of what it means to become conscious of those unconscious behaviors. And so that's all I have for you today. If you like this kind of content, consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell for the videos that I post every single day. Have yourself a great day, and see you in the next video.